All right. Happy day.
Happy day.
Happy day, everybody. You are here with Erica Kesse. I'm a love force with mysterious wisdom, celebrating life.
And Chrys Callaway, and I am a level-headed adventurer who is both my actions and emotions.
Awesome. And we will tell you who we are because we do many things.
We do.
Chrys, what do you do?
Well, I am a speaker.
Yes.
I speak, I tell my story so others feel empowered to tell their story. I am a founder of a community. I'm a founder of my own business, from Akira to Chrys. I am the founder of Tell It Like It Is, which is a writing workshop, which is what we're talking about today.
Yes.
Writing and creative workshop, which is what we're talking about today. And I have a journal, also called Tell It Like It Is.
Tell It Like It Is on Amazon.
And I am
teen storyteller.
Oh, yes, I am a teen storyteller. I like to call myself the fusion.
Yes.
Because I am a fusion. And I got the title of teen storyteller by interacting with This Is My Brave, which they share their stories as well, which also leads me to talk about communication and how everything I do always goes back to communication.
Right. So speaking of that, with communication, tell us what your market dominating position is.
Yes, I am a 12-year-old addressing the lack of communication within families through storytelling and community.
Yes.
It's awesome. Not just families, but it's everybody.
Yeah.
Because I know in the world, there's a lot of people who don't know how to communicate.
It's true, but you specifically are focusing on families, right?
I am.
Families, and which is why we're doing Tell It Like It Is.
Yes.
Tell It Like It Is. It's going to be on Saturday at 6:00. Tell It Like It Is. And why not have a family partner with your family in helping you to have better communication skills and better communication and have the tough conversations within your family. So we're doing a workshop. It's on Saturday at 6:00. This will be our third workshop.
Yes, because it is a repeated workshop.
Yeah.
And we do it at the last Saturday of every month.
So you can catch it the last Saturday of every month. And then we are recording these. So ultimately, we're probably going to take these and put them into a learning series or a course so that people can learn the different things that we do to advocate for communication. Because, with families, we bring in pieces. Going back, well, let me introduce myself because I haven't done that, because that plays into the next things. Okay, so I'm a multifaceted leader. Okay, and being a multifaceted leader, I provide fractional COO services to healthcare organizations, working with their to develop and increase their employee engagement and for them to have retention and also operational excellence. That's where I'm focusing right now in my business, Your Goal Concierge, as I'm the CEO of that business. My personal brand is Erica Speaks, and so I am a speaker with that and also an author. I am a licensed professional counselor specialized in play and expressive arts therapy. And also, I am a mental fitness coach as well as a business execution coach. Yes, I have all these different things, and I provide insights on LinkedIn based on individuals who request them from my newsletter.
And you can go request your own insights. If you all check out her profile and go to her newsletter, you could go ask for your own insights and see what insights she has up there for you to request.
Right. And so there's a poll that you can do there. If you're on LinkedIn, there's a poll you can do through my newsletter. My newsletter is called Connect, Flourish, and Thrive. And I give leadership tips as well as events so that you can find ways to connect with other people. I recognize that people who are working even in leadership roles in organizations sometimes are siloed out and only interacting with particular people. So a great way to broaden your network is to interact and to participate in events and things that are happening around you. So I put out some curated events and things that I am offering. One of the things that I'm offering and that I do with my lovely daughter here is Tell It Like It Is. It is a creative family workshop. And this kind of pulling in the pieces of me being a therapist and a coach. I am my daughter's business coach, as you can see from.
Yes, and she has helped me get certified as an integrative coach.
Yes.
As well.
So I have a coaching certification program, and Chrys actually went through it with 2 other individuals, and they all graduated. And now Chrys is a certified integrative coach, which is awesome because we take this. One of the things that we do after, we give this complimentary workshop so that you can get a taste of us, right?
Yeah.
But then we do suggest if you would like more, individualized time with us, well, we offer family coaching. And so Chrys and I offer that together. I, as a licensed professional counselor and a coach, specialize in play and expressive arts therapy. We work together with the family. I work with the adults. Chrys work with the children. Yes. We are doing play and expressive arts therapy approaches and doing coaching so that they as a unit can learn how to communicate and what's the next steps for them in their family system so that they can.
And how I explain it is like how a train operates. When a train is not operating as a whole, it's there's a possibility that the caboose will come off the train, or a part of the train will go off in a different direction. Mm-hmm. But when the train's working together, they know where it's going, and it's all working to go to one place. And of course, with the train is that there's stops. Mm-hmm. So within families, you all have different goals. So you take stops, you take breaks, you go focus on a different goal, and that's a stop, and then you go back to the family goal. So
awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your that was a great illustration, visualization of the thoughts about how we can all function together, but also be able to have the stops. But it's important that we communicate the stops that we need to make. And then everybody get on board with each other.
You're willing to hear what they're saying.
Right. You get on board with each other. And so we offer on Saturday, we're doing a Tell It Like It Is creative workshop. You can get the link. It is bit.ly/Tell It Like It Is 3, Tell It Like It Is 3. And it'll take you to Eventbrite and you can register.
And there's no capitalization, just Tell It Like It Is 3.
Tell It Like It Is 3, yes. Now, today, Chrys and I just wanted to introduce ourselves, but we also wanted to kind of walk you through what we'll be doing in the workshop so you can see what we're doing. So first, can we talk about what we've already covered in the previous workshops?
Yes, we can. And we have done a number of things. We have done within the workshop, we have activities and challenges. So you can do an activity, and then when you're done with that activity, we give you a challenge so you can do that same activity but a different way within your family. And we have done something called Fill the Mandala, which is where you get a blank circle. Or actually, it doesn't have to be a blank circle, but it's basically a circle. And you fill it. That's her mandala. And it's beautiful. And my mandala is called Bumpity the ball balloon. I love Bumpity. So this is something that we did in the last workshop, and also
that happened in the first workshop.
And also in the first workshop, we covered the flexibility of journaling, which explains how journaling comes in multiple forms, not just writing down on a piece of paper, but it comes in the form you can dance, you can sing, you can write a poem. It's a way like you don't have to write it down on paper, because when you write it down on paper, there's a fear that someone can read it and they can use it against you. Because that's happened to me before, and that does not feel good. But if you do it in a way that you and only you know, like a choreographed dance, no one else is going to figure that out, because it was for you to do. It's in your way of expressing it. And so that's what we covered in the flexibility of journaling. And in the last workshop, we did cover that again, because a lot of people did not know about the different ways you can journal.
And one reason why we covered it again is because one thing that we do is, of course, as we are doing these workshops, we are getting feedback from the people who show up to make sure we curate the experience for them. And so they were very intrigued with the idea of broadening their minds about what journaling is. That's just one thing that we offer. So the first session, we talked about the flexibility of journaling, and the way that we delivered that was to feel the mandala, right? Then last time we wrote a song.
Yes, we wrote a song, and it was a song that empowered families to spark communication. And oh my God, it was amazing. And I'm so happy because we had everyone in the workshop. They pitched in, they offered some words, and we created a song. And in the next workshop, and even in the workbook, there is
the lyrics to the song.
Yes.
Yeah. So we actually we created a song within the workshop.
Yeah.
Everybody participated, and the lyrics to the song is in the workbook. So when you do go to register, you go to bit.ly, bit.ly. I will type that in here, / tell it like it is 3. And when you do that, it takes you in to get the workbook that is attached, and it'll look like this. And as we are moving along, the workbook expands. All right. So as we are
because we do not get rid of the pages, because within the pages we have share time, and within the share time there is a challenge for families to do together. And so we want to make sure that all the families can do those challenges together if they feel like it. And that is a way to spark communication, because I said in one of the last workshops, we did the song, but we also we talked about imagination.
Yes.
And I said that imagining a conversation might just be the key to starting one. And that imagination is something that is special, because a lot of people say, oh, you have such a big imagination. And that's a good thing, because when you imagine things, you are imagining what you want in your life. You are manifesting it. And manifestation, that is something that can easily get you to where you need to be.
Awesome. Yes. And so the first workshop, we did the flexibility of journaling, which led into the mandala. And the reason why we started with the flexibility of journaling is because journaling is a way to express yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to open your mind to expressing yourself to yourself, as well as being able to take that expression that you've done with yourself to be able to express yourself through communicating with your family and with others.
Yeah.
So it all begins, and we talk about this with Chris and I, especially during we have a podcast called Incubate to Thrive, and you can catch that on LinkedIn. And then we're going to do 5 episodes before we launch it onto YouTube. But in Incubate to Thrive, we talk about the self and how you have to be able to communicate with yourself first.
And even I talk about that. I've asked LinkedIn, because that's where I hang out. That's LinkedIn. I hang out on LinkedIn. And so I talk about my soul, my parts, myself, communication, storytelling, community. I talk about it all. But recently I asked LinkedIn, hey, should I do a soul series? And then I said, here is some of the things I was just doing my own methodology, which is fusion, which is friendship, understanding, social support, inspiration, outings, and nourishment. And within fusion, that is how I have fused with myself, my parts, my soul, and my story. And so when I fused with those parts, then it was only recently that I fused with my soul. And I did so, and I was like, oh my God. I recognize that the soul needs more communication than any other thing. Because the soul, although it's been with you for such a long time, the communication was never there. And so you need the communication to recap all that you've done. Like, why have you done this? Why? I want to know. Because the soul is a very curious thing. It wants to figure out. It wants all the answers. It wants to know. And since you haven't been giving it answers for such a long time, there's going to be a conversation, and it's going to be a very big conversation, which a lot of people cannot handle. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's how you get clarity.
Yes, clarity.
That's how you get clarity in your life, when you are able to have the tough conversation with yourself, and you're not in denial about what you've done and why you've done it. And just having those pertinent conversations. And then when you get clear on being able to communicate with yourself, it becomes so much easier to communicate with everyone around you. And a great testing ground is, especially for families, is to be able to learn how to communicate within your family. Because then you can branch out into the world, and you have a great grasp on communication, how to be effective in it, how to clearly share in order to reach understanding between you and the other individual that you're communicating with.
And
so
that also helps with, like, setting communication under having a clear understanding what communication is. It helps you to know that when your child goes into the world, they know how to communicate. And they're not stuck in situations that you were stuck in when you was younger. Because a lot of situations, I've heard my mom's stories, a lot of situations that she was in, I'm like, well, if the conversation went this way, this wouldn't have happened. And even in shows, they have all this stuff about, like, romances and just adventures and all types of things. People are so busy making actions that they don't have communication. And that's funny, because in the real world, we don't take action, and we still don't communicate.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Okay, so you all, we're not going to stay long here. We just wanted to, give you all a brief, interacting with us and talking about the things we got going on. Inviting you to our workshop, Tell It Like It Is. It's Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time. The link is showing up on the screen there, but we've covered those things, right? And in the previous workshop, oh, sorry, it's at 4.
At 4.
It's at 4. Sorry, tell it like it is at 4. It's at 4. Okay, 4 p.m. Central Time.
Like to 6.
Because it actually started off being like only
for
30 minutes. Gonna be 30 minutes?
No, I think it was an hour at least. So
it was an hour.
4 to 5.
Yep. It was from 4 to 5. And then from listening to the people who were there, they wanted more time. So now it's from 4 to 6. It's a longer duration period. And so a lot of the things that we're doing is, really getting out here doing this complimentary workshop to get a good feeling about who we're serving, why we're serving, how we can serve them.
Yeah.
So now today, okay, so in the workshop that's coming up, right? I tell it like it is, workshop, creative family workshop. You can go to the link to go on and get this complimentary workshop. It's on Saturday at 6. I'm sorry, at 4. We're going to talk about having a personal code of conduct. Yes, a personal code of conduct. So a lot of times people understand, adults understand, right? Or even kids, if they are at a particular school where they sign a code of conduct on how they interact, right?
And a code of conduct, it's basically like, imagine I learned from you doing the integrative training, doing the coach training, that every place has a culture.
Yes.
And so when you go to some place, there's a culture. Like you go to the supermarket. In the supermarket, you're going around, you're browsing things, you're just minding your business. And it's weird to be loud and in house shoes, clacking around in your robe. That's not the culture of the supermarket or the market.
Normally.
But it could be the culture of your house. So I was in the coaching training, I was trained to be aware of the culture, and especially the culture of our clients, which then leads to the code of conduct.
Yes.
Because the code of conduct is the culture for your client. That is how they want to be treated. And when you sign the code of conduct, you are saying, I will treat you how you want to be treated.
Right. Because when you give people, when you ask them how they want to be treated and then give that to them, there's an easy way of having security and safety. So then it allows them to become more flexible if flexibility is something that needs to happen. But you first start off where they are. So I'm glad that you mentioned that.
But I forgot to mention that even with the code of conduct, and you see them, you can easily, if you realize, I have not been following the code of conduct, you can go find the code of conduct and review it. And so then you're making sure that you're treating that person how they want to be treated.
Yes. And why this is so vital to families is this is not the work that people do.
No.
This is the work that Chris and I would do in family coaching. If we were going to do family coaching with you, we would ask, what is the values? What is the vision? What is the code of conduct here? Like, what is the code of conduct for each person here? And are you all abiding by that? Or is it some kind of unwritten, unspoken thing that you all are hitting up against, but no one has clearly said what it is?
Yeah.
So with this, it makes it clear. It makes it absolutely transparent. So we're going to be walking through, Chris and I right now are going to walk through our own working it out,
Yeah.
our own code of conduct. Now, because she and I have done some of this preliminary work already, because I am not I'm just not a person. I don't like hypocrites. I'm not a hypocritical person. So if I say, hey, people need to have values and their vision and their mission set,
we got
then
them.
Then no, I have to be that. I have to already be doing that. Like I have to know that. It's easy for me to complete something like this because we already do this work.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to show you all, but we want the families to be challenged in the Tell It Like It Is creative family workshop that we'll have on Saturday at 4:00. All right. So Chrys, let's create. During the workshop, we're gonna create our personal code of conduct. And the first thing is, as you can see right here at the top, and you are gonna get when you go register, okay, you're gonna get a workbook, and it'll have this page in there for you, as well as all the other information about sharing. And our workshops are interactive. Like we're going to actually have a good, hearty conversation. So first of all, we're going to go in here and we're going to mark what are our values. So Chrys and I, we already know our values.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Chrys, what are your values?
Loyalty, boldness,
Loyalty, boldness.
I'm sure.
Honesty.
Oh, yes, honesty. Loyalty, boldness, honesty. I like fairness, too.
Where?
Fairness.
That wasn't one of the ones you said. You can't be changing it up now.
Why not?
Well, I mean, you can. We want to do your top 3.
Okay,
loyalty. So the
honesty,
assignment is to find your top 3 values. The values are here for you to. That's the first step. Let's explain what values are. A person's principles or standards of behavior. It's one's judgment of what is important in life.
Okay, well then I have peace, honesty, loyalty, and boldness.
That's what it is. So write those down. Here, just write down each one here because you're going to define them. So mine are family. Oh, I said family. Goodness. Yeah, family is one of them, but it's nestled under other ones. So freedom is mine. Integrity and intimacy are my top 3. Growth is, I would have to say, under freedom. So the next thing that you need to do is define your values. Now, listen, going back, I always say this is important. I say it all the time. You must define things for yourself. Okay?
Yeah, you cannot you can.
Now,
but
I recognize that we had a family who were saying peace.
Yeah.
And then when we asked them to define what peace was, they had different definitions.
Yes.
So it's important, very important, that you define what your value is for yourself.
And know what the definition of it for the other people around you.
And then you all have to get on the same page. When you're working in a family, a team, a unit, you got to get on the same page about what the value is for the family. Mm-hmm. Of course, you start with your own definition. So I'm going back. You're going to be defining your values. All right. Yes. So I'm going to define mine.
Okay, let's replace your sets.
Okay. So you are defining your values. Now that takes some time, You can keep looking at these to make sure that if it suits you well, you can add in some other values inside of that particular one. Like if you identified 10 of them and we wanted to get them down to 3, and you can like nestle other values under that one as you define them. But we want to do your top 3. So, for example, freedom is for me to do to be able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it. To have movement and growth in my life. Basically, evolution. Okay. Integrity is to be a person of my word, and to be intentional and strategic about the things that I say I'm going to do, as well as my behaviors. Intimacy is to welcome people to be close to me in real and deep ways. And, that's a very important value of mine, because I am really relationship focused, because I understand how valuable relationships are. And I understand the importance and the responsibility that I have in my relationships, because I stand on the soapbox of doing no harm. Okay. What about you, Chris?
I'm not done yet, but here we go. Peace. I have peace, honesty, loyalty, and boldness. And peace is to live in a world where judgment, sadness, guilt can never be placed on me or the others around me. Honesty. To not lie to myself or others without a firm reason that benefits both me and them, with the knowing of that I will tell them when the time is right. Loyalty. To be loyal to myself and always be minding my business until the people around me call for me. And then I'm not done with boldness, but boldness, to live my life without a care of having to change the way I am.
Okay. Yes. All right. Wonderful. And this is just an amazing exercise that I just can see parents doing with their children, because, this is just sitting here with my daughter right now is quality time that I'm sharing with her. We do our podcast together. We do this workshop together. And even though we are serving during those times, we're also first serving ourselves and just reiterating our knowledge and our understanding on a regular basis, so that we can keep it in our lives. It's not actually about sometimes anybody else, but us having this for ourselves. So So it's really a very good activity for us. And you doing this activity with your children, or even if it was you and your spouse, if I'm talking to people who are leaders and they have a team, being able to them share their values or do this value clarification is beneficial, because when you really look at these values, looking at our values together, right? Okay. So Chrys has peace, honesty, loyalty, and boldness. Now, and listening to her definitions, they fit, or they're very similar, and they have the same language as mine. Going back to boldness, to live my life without a care of having to change the way I am. I believe that's very similar to my freedom, right? It's very similar to the freedom that I put, which is to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it and how I want to do it. It's very similar. And so like she and I are using different words, but really connecting with our value systems, and it's not like we're saying different things. For example, I had a family was working with, and the parents both said they wanted peace. The father said he wanted a lack of conflict. The mom said she wanted to create a space that was serene and that allowed them to not have worries. So he just didn't want to have to deal with anything, any conflict. And she was willing to create what needed to be created in order to have. So she understood that conflict needed to happen in order to get to the peace. Sometimes you have to have a conflict to get to a solution. But if you are avoiding the conflict and you're saying you want to just sit in peace, then you're not really in peace.
No.
You're just sitting in complacency. You see what I'm saying? So there's a difference. So let's keep going, Chrys.
But I do want to say really quickly that you know how our values are different. They're not the same.
Yeah.
And how you have freedom and integrity, but I have boldness and honesty. And even though they're not the same, the way we define them is similar.
Yeah. Great point. Excellent point. Now let's move on, because I don't want to be here. I don't want us to be here too much longer. Okay. So the next parts of the code, a personal code of conduct, is to go through and write down how you would like to be treated in 4 categories. Okay? How you would like to be treated in 4 categories: physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Let me explain, give you an example. The workbook has examples in there. Okay? So you will see that when you register for Tell It Like It Is. That's going to happen on Saturday at 4:00. Register at the link that's right here displayed on the screen, bit.ly/Tell It Like It Is 3. But so we're going to go through during the workshop, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. What are we going to, how do you want to be treated? Doing this work allows you to be clear on first you have the blueprint of what you should share with other people. Also, you know exactly from this information your boundaries. a lot of times people have a hard time setting up boundaries. When you have a personal code of conduct, it is the code of conduct that you will like for yourself, and you can easily share with other people. This is how you treat me. Okay, let me give you an example of these. And Chris, I'm going to ask you to give an example of one for yourself.
Okay.
We're not going to actually go through all of these here on screen because we want them to come to Tell It Like It Is workshop.
Yeah.
And work on this with a group of other people. We have people that have signed up, families, and we're going to create, every person that's there is going to create their own personal code of conduct. So then they can share with their loved ones. First they're sharing with themselves to do this exercise. Then they're going to share it with their loved ones. But the people who come to it with their families are able to see it and do it in real time together, so they can have those tough conversations. And this is the reason why we do Tell It Like It Is. It's so that it can spark you to communicate and have those tough conversations.
Yes.
So, Chris, actually, I was gonna give them an example of these, but why don't you give an example? What is a physical way in which you would like to be treated?
I would like to be treated physically. I would like to be treated in the way of you keep your opinion to yourself unless I ask for it.
Ooh, that's great. I think that goes along with boldness, but it also goes with along with your mental, and it also goes along with your emotional. You know what? I think that fits all the categories. People keep their opinion to themselves unless you ask for it. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's great. That's a great one, and I think that hits all of them. So I'm glad that you did that, Chris, because you can have ones that fit all of them for your overall well-being, right? That's a good one. Oh, that's good. Let me try to figure out one that will fit all the categories. I allow people who are doing their self-work, meaning that they're intentional in their life, to be a part of my life. And I feel like that hits all the parts, because I don't want to be in the proximity of anyone who's reckless and it's not intentional. It's going to help me emotionally, me mentally, and it also is beneficial to my spirituality. It hits all the pieces.
And that reminds me of something you used to say. You used to say, "Don't come for me unless I call for you." That reminds me of that.
I say, yeah, don't come for me unless I call for you. And I also had this other thing is, you're either going to abide by my boundaries or you're going to be compliant to my boundaries, or defiant outside of my life.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's kind of bold, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, because I should be playing about myself, right? And a code of conduct, personal code of conduct, is basically you saying, I'm not playing about myself no more. I'm not going to let certain things happen to me anymore. I'm going to be clear. And guess what? It's so funny to me because once I'm clear about it, it's like an energy that I have.
Yeah.
So when anything comes up that doesn't fit, then I'm laughing at it. Like, for example, if somebody comes to me and say, you're a white woman, I'm going to be like, okay. I'm going to laugh because I'm like, well, okay, that's just, I don't understand. Bloop, it doesn't compute. So when somebody treats me outside of my personal boundaries.
Yeah, but that goes back to the fact that you're not specifically telling them, no, I'm not. Because
No,
that's what they're thinking.
I don't.
There's no reason to.
I don't owe nobody no explanations as to why they think, and they be saying things that don't make no sense to me. But a lot of people get in the soapbox. That's not who I am, and they get to start defending themselves. I have to defend myself. When you have your own personal code of conduct, you don't have to use any of your energy on any bits that don't fit. If it don't fit, then there's no reason for you to even acknowledge its existence. It's not even something that should be, that you're continuing to think about and worrying about. It doesn't even need your energy at all.
Yeah, you just take this, you print this out, you give it to all the people around you. Here you go. Here you go. Yeah, this is my autograph. Make sure you keep it. Here you go. Yeah, here you go.
Well, I mean, you could fill this out and give it out to people. Like, this is how you treat me. So when folks do something they ain't supposed to do, you say,
it looks like you need to review page 3 of my code of conduct.
Under the emotionally section, you said this, and so it hits up against my code of conduct here. I just want to let you know that. Then wait a minute, once somebody hits up against your code of conduct also has to tell people what's the consequence.
Yep.
What's the consequence?
It's like a big old boundary.
That it's a boundary. Like, the consequence is, are you going to continue to interact with somebody who keeps on not abiding by your code of conduct? Because if we were at a job, right, and you were not abiding by the code of conduct, you get written up. You get a verbal. You get a written, and then you get improvement, right? You get a certain time where they can allow you to improve, and then if you don't improve, you got to go, right? There's a process to this thing. We're gonna have to start treating ourselves in the ways in which we are not playing about ourselves no more. Because basically, every time somebody hits up against your code of conduct, and first of all, they know your code of conduct, because that'd be the problem with communication. Folks don't even know that you have this thing. Like,
yeah, you can't expect to be treated by someone you don't tell them how you want to be treated.
Exactly. That's usually an issue with communication too. You have certain expectations, and then you think people are supposed to know what your expectations are. No, they don't know your expectations. So basically, you write down what your expectations are about how you're being treated. You give it to the people. Once they have it, then it's their responsibility. Otherwise, it's not.
Yeah.
So, Chris, we finna stop this live because I feel like we done did it. Y'all come to this workshop. Tell it like it is. If y'all in here, see, y'all really getting to know the speakers.
Yeah.
Chrys Callaway, Erica Kesse, coming to tell it like it is. Creative family workshop. We're going to talk about personal code of conduct. Everybody gets to walk away with their code of conduct. We're going to talk about this thing. One thing that I want to say is it's an interactive workshop. So it's not about sitting around hearing us talk. Okay.
We want you to share.
Usually we're talking right now so that we don't talk that much in the workshop. In the workshop, we need to be working. And there's a lot of share time. And in this workbook, there's a challenge that goes with it every time too for you to do. And these are activities you can do with your family, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to find.
Yeah, I see you looking at the workshop.
I'm looking at the workbook. I'm trying to find. I wrote down in the workbook one of my boundaries of the code of conduct. Values clarification. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, yeah. So there's lots of time to share because we did get feedback from one of our young participants.
Yes.
That they didn't like all that talking. Okay. They wanted.
And I want to say real quick.
They wanted activity.
I tried to make sure there was share time, and someone got rid of it.
Yeah. You.
I know. Mama.
You did. You knew. You did. And I acknowledge that we do need to have as much shared time as possible, which is why we had to expand it out to 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about, the amount of time we had, because it seemed like everybody wanted to say a lot, and we did not have enough time for all of the talking that everybody wanted to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have enough time for people to come and really share and interact and create a space, a safe space. So come to this safe space. Come to Tell It Like It Is. If you hadn't been able to tell it like it is anywhere else, you can come tell it like it is and tell it like it is, because we want to hear it. Okay, yeah. we are here for it, and you're gonna walk away with your personal code of conduct. So there's no reason why you can't tell people like it is on who you are and how you want to be treated. Okay, so I'm gonna let you all go now. Say bye, Chris.
Bye. Bye. Come on to Tell It Like It Is.
Tell It Like It Is.
Tell It Like It Is.
You can go to bit.ly/Tell It Like It Is 3. And you will go to the Eventbrite and go ahead and register. You get your workbook, and we will see you there. We're excited about it. See you on Saturday. Tell your friends about this. If you have somebody come to you and say, well, I'm really having a hard time with my family, or I'm having some issues communicating with my daughter, or I'm having some problems with my, talking to my husband, or whatever. You tell your friends or somebody, y'all see this, and you see somebody, your friend or somebody say, oh, I'm having these tough times, right? Tell them about Tell It Like It Is, so they can come on and they can get this information. This is a complimentary workshop. Chris and I are gearing up to do other things that will not be complimentary, but we wanted to make sure we really have a good idea and grasp on what we're offering and to whom and what's the best mode of offering it. I do want to say again that we have Incubate to Thrive, which is also is our podcast. Yeah. So if you all love and love interacting and hearing us, we're here for it. Okay. Have a great day. Bye.
Have a good day too.